go live and we will get everything good to go. And we'll have more guests coming shortly. Then I'm going to make you a co-host so you can admit people.
Okay.
And we'll get started right away. Kick off 2021 the right way.
I really want to know what your family rules are, Shane.
When someone is hurt, we hug them. When something is broken, we fix it. When someone is hungry, we feed them. When something is dirty, we clean it. When someone is sick, we comfort them. When someone is sad, we make them smile. When someone is speaking, we listen. And when someone is loved, we tell them.
Nice. Well done.
All right, I'm dropping a PDF. We got other guests going to be coming shortly, but we're going to get started because, of course, we're going live. And welcome to a Cyndicate Talks, our very first episode in 2021. And of course, we're screaming through season 2 right now of Cyndicate Talks. And I am your host, Mitch Kamich, the Savage in Business, founder and impresario of Cyndicate itself. So a little window for you very quickly. What is Cyndicate? Cyndicate is a tribe, an organization, a body, a collection, a business family of entrepreneurs, creators, innovators, and of course, business leaders who want to be able to work together, grow, leverage the resources around them, meaning other business owners, their peers, and become better because of it. Cyndicate Talks was the idea we had with the advent of the pandemic in the spring of 2020, because one of the areas that most business owners struggle with overall is, of course, resources, education, and information. Now, inside of Cyndicate itself, we get that. Why? Because everybody has something to contribute to the middle. The accountants, bookkeepers, lawyers, business partners, IT professionals, etc., that are all inside of Cyndicate, of course, help each other out. We work amongst each other. But that's not enough for the marketplace overall. So we wanted to be able to bring education to the masses, to the business owners that are out there and available in the world, and give it to them for free. Because amongst us in the 21st century, education is no longer at a premium. It is at your fingertips. And in fact, thanks to this thing, and it doesn't matter what kind of device it is, at no point in time in history are you better able to get your hands on resources, education, and information faster than right now. So we wanted to make sure to give it to you. Now, in 2021 and 11 months into a pandemic, because of course I'm recording this in the middle of January of 2021, we've heard an awful lot of language for the last little while about side hustles, about the side gig, about the gig economy. Well, the gig economy is not new. In fact, the gig economy has been around for decades. In fact, the gig economy has probably been around for centuries or millennia. But the gig economy for, let's say, our parents, anybody in their late 50s, 60s, and 70s, and in North America would include things like construction sites, where you could walk on site and get day work for day labor. In other words, you could show up and there used to be ads. If you remember, a newspaper would have job ads and classified ads in the back, and someone would say, hey, paid daily, work daily, et cetera, et cetera. So because of that, we would find that the gig economy was alive and well. In fact, if I was short on work, if I was looking for work, if I was trying to leverage work, information, education, et cetera, I could do so by merely picking up the newspaper, going to the classified ads at the back end, and finding a job, finding work, finding help, support, etc. But in the modern world, in the 21st century, the gig economy, once again, I'm going to hold this up for a moment, thanks to this thing here, has started to really spiral, spike, and move. So when we look in 2021, what makes it so prevalent for people in the marketplace, for business owners, or for those that have an entrepreneurial spirit, in other words, you've always thought about working for yourself, but you've never decided to do it until now, maybe because job scarcity, maybe because jobs have downside, businesses have been struggling, etc. Depending on segment and sector, unemployment is 30 or 40%. So maybe you are looking at being underemployed without a job, or part of your job itself is lacking the actual ability to continue to cover what you need. And so we come back to gigs. Businesses are starting at an astonishing rate right now in the middle of the pandemic. And so it pays for you if you have an idea, suggestions, a skill, a talent, something that you've been working on, nurturing for months, years, or that you've never thought about expressing, being able to get it started. But when you do it, and of course, Mitch Kamich Coaching, the Savage in Business, I am a business coach by regular profession and trade, meaning that on a daily basis. I work with business owners, maybe just like you if you're watching live on YouTube right now, and help you to do a few things right, which is the mechanics of business, the things you have to do. Because more often than not, when we see failure, we see failure for the same basic things. So I'm going to reshare a document in here for a moment. I'm going to screen share because I want you to go ahead and screen grab this. If you're actually on our little live studio audience, I just have 3 people joining me live today, not counting what's on YouTube. Go ahead and screen grab this because this is going to be the fundamental plan to launch your business, your side hustle, the gig economy side that you want to be able to do, et cetera, et cetera. But more importantly, past that, you're going to want to be able to follow along with this doc because it's going to, in a handful of lines, outline exactly what you either need to have covered in your current business, what you're going to have to cover and do in your launch business, your gig economy, the side hustle that you want to put together, or if you've never talked about or thought about opening up a business, this is the stuff that you're going to need. So it's your checklist. Some of this isn't sexy, but being able to do it right, get it done appropriately the first time, and of course, having it handled. So bear with me for a second while I make sure that those people are a little live studio audience here. I've got this document attached. And for those that are joining us live on YouTube, come back and watch this video again later over the next week or so, because you're going to see that we can attach the document. You'll be able to download it watching the video live. Well, not live then, in a week, of course, but you'll actually grab that PDF and take it home for yourself. But for right now, you'll be able to screen capture it shortly. So bear with me for about 10 seconds. I'm going to make sure that everybody's got access to this document. And then we're gonna go flying into this because I want to maximize, and not even the next 50 minutes of your life, maybe about the next 30 or 35 minutes. That's how little time it takes to get it right when it comes to your business and do the absolute necessary so that you can focus on making your business work and not whether your business has all the parts in place itself. Does that make sense? So, all right, we're going to dive right in. Businesses are not really complex. Businesses are not really tough to manage and put together, except that likely if you've just started one, you've been running one for a while, or maybe if you've never thought about it because the idea of business is terrifying, it's a series of small technical skills. If you get those right, then the mechanic of running your business is really simple because you really should be focused on what it is you want to do or love to do. So I'm going to talk through the steps and then I'm going to screen share in a moment. So when we look at actually putting our business together, there's only 6 things that we have to do, only 6 parts. Go ahead and write notes, but like I said, I'm going to screen share in a moment. First one is ideation. In other words, what's the idea? What's the concept? What's the brilliant thought that you've had that makes you say, I've got something unique to offer to the world, something to offer in a way that's very different than maybe what other people are looking at? Or in the instance of a lot of business owners, you got kind of pissed off at the last place you were working and thought to yourself, I can do this better than before. So ideation has to do with, first of all, what are you going to offer the world? What is the product or service that you're bringing to the world itself? And then after the product or service, what is the actual offer? What are they going to get? And what is the price they're going to get it at? So step 1 is always the idea, the ideation. What do I want to do? What can I offer the world? What can I sell them? What can I give them? What can I teach them how to do? Then what is the offer? What would make me want to buy? What is the language and the words, etc.? What is going to be the give to somebody else so that they say, you know what? I either have to have, I want, or I need what this person has. And of course, what's the price? You need to be able to look at what the marketplace is doing. Is there anybody else doing what you're doing as well? What kind of price can you charge? Because you need to know how much price to set your service or product at so that you know how to make money. If we don't have a price set ahead of time, then you're hooped. You're at the whimsy of people deciding the value of what you're offering to the world before you've had a chance to tell them or show them or even compare, perhaps to something similar. So they have an idea of what they should expect when it comes to the almighty dollar. So ideation, the idea of what we want to provide, needs to be very clearly spelled out. And if you can itemize, isolate, or organize the actual product or service, the offer, in other words, some basic language, hey, you're going to need this for this reason. You're going to need this for that reason. You're going to want this because of this. And here's the price that we've got. Then you've checked box 1. Box 2, finances. When you run a business, you're going to want to, of course, expect that when you start a business, run a gig economy, et cetera, 1, there's going to be some costs. 2, there's going to be some bills. And 3, you're going to have to account for those on a regular basis. Now, when it comes to our finances and our cash flows, as I'm talking, I realize that I'm going through a real basic description here, but I'm going to come back, fill them out a little more. So things like cash flow, bookkeeping, accounting, do you have a partner, do you have software, etc. You're going to need to be able to track and order the finances of the business itself. Number 3, sales, okay? For the sales of the business, how am I going to sell? Who am I going to sell? Who's going to be my primary audience? Who's going to be my primary customer that I'm going to talk to? Number 4, marketing. I want my business to be able to attract people to it and to be able to sell the product or services that I came up with in the idea. But how do I get my business to talk about itself 24 hours a day when I can't sell me to somebody else what I do for business? Number 5 is the actual business setup itself. A great idea, and coming from the business coach, get your business incorporated, right? It provides certain advantages and benefits, and of course, provides certain layers of protection, but incorporated in a very non-fancy sense means you're creating almost like another human being. A business has rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Incorporation means that the business itself, according to the government, is a real legal entity. It pays taxes, it collects money all by itself, etc. And incorporation provides certain advantages and benefits. After that, you're going to want insurance. Yes, you're going to set up a business. Do not leave your livelihood at the mercy of whether or not you're smart enough all the time to realize whether or not you've created a problem or caused an error when you've been doing whatever it is that you're providing for a service. Get yourself insured and get your butt covered, okay? And of course, if you're going to take on partners, you're going to work at joint ventures or whatever, have a written agreement. And number 6, partners. You're going to need certain partners in your life, referral partners, people that you can trade business with, accounting and bookkeeping partners, people that handle your finances, peer partners, people that you can bounce ideas off. And then after that, you're going to need a set of behaviors. So you're going to need 6 things, and you're going to want to be reviewing those on a regular basis. Again, we're going to screen share. I'm going to talk them through more information in a moment. But then you're going to have certain behaviors and activities. So I want to run a business. What I'm going to do? Well, every day you're going to want to be able to sell. Every day you're going to want to measure and monitor your cash flow. Every day, if you've got sales that you're doing on a day-to-day or a weekly basis, you're going to want to make sure to either invoice or process those invoices. And after that, payments. Who do you owe? Who owes you? Who do you owe? Or how do you collect money? On a weekly basis, bookkeeping and accounting, keeping track of the financial sense of the business. AR and AP, really, really fancy words for accounts receivable, accounts payable, the same activity as daily. And then, of course, marketing and meetings. Am I meeting with peers? Am I meeting with potential partners? Am I meeting with referrals, etc.? And then from a monthly basis, being able to look and review your financial dashboard, understanding what's going on with the cash in the business, planning for your sales, coming up with the needs and wants list, and of course, that operations plan. And then from there, for a business to launch successfully from day 1, day 30, day 90, day 300, you want to be able to review, transact, in other words, do the business, and of course, push. The amount of effort to spend launching a business side hustle and a gig is 4 times greater than the amount it takes to hold on to whatever it is you built. Because if you don't push that hard, you don't expend that much energy and resources, then very likely the business is not going to thrive, succeed, and grow. That makes sense? So I'm going to share my screen here for a moment, and I'm going to talk through. I implore you to write notes, listen along, whatever. If you want to, you can follow us along on YouTube, of course. You can go to YouTube, look up Mitch Kamich Coaching, and you're going to see our latest live feed going called Launch Your Biz, Start a Side Hustle, and Clean Up Your Business, a Syndicate Talks. You can drop comments there. I'll come back and answer if you've got anything that you'd like to ask later on. Love to hear from you as well. And of course, once this video is done on the live broadcast sometime next week, please come back and have a look, because we'll make sure to attach this PDF document right into the video so you can follow along into the middle, and you're going to have a chance to be able to download that too. So with that, I'm going to pop up the screen. You're going to listen to me talk. I'm going to explain this a little more so that you can, in the next 30 minutes, create a brand new business. Have a look at your current business. Maybe there's some areas here that you need to shore up, clean up a little bit, or launch that side gig, that side hustle that you've always wanted. So we're using the fancy words, but here we go. Launch your business. 2 pages, a little colorful, 6 things on one page, 3 on the other. And here we go, ideation. Product, service, offering, and price. Ideation is the idea, the full concept. I want you to be able to paint a picture. I want you to be able to take whatever it is you're going to offer. You've got something to offer. You can help somebody write a book. You could be a business coach. You're an accountant or a bookkeeper. You work in IT or software. You sell shoes for a living. You make shoes for a living. You make ashtrays for cigar aficionados. It doesn't matter what it is. And why do I say all these things out loud? Because these are all people that immediately pop into my head that I know right now that have done exactly this. They had an idea. They had something they thought was cool. They wanted to be able to share it with the whole world. So they had the idea. Once they had the idea, they figured out what the product or the service. In other words, did they do something for another human being? Or do they offer something for another human being? Do they sell them a pen? Or do they teach them how to write with the pen? That's the case. There's my product or service. So you need to write as many of the ideas around your product or service, or as many products or services as you have. And you need to be able to write them down, because if you do that appropriately, correctly, if you do that to a wonderful level, then you start to create the personality of the business. That personality of the business next helps you to create the offer. So if I sell pens, what is the value of this pen? Why is this pen value? What are you going to be able to use it for? What is my offer? Why are people going to want to buy this pen from me when you can order a bucket of pens on Amazon? When, well, you know, in Canada, we can't quite pack up and all go to Staples right now if we really want to for supplies, but you can go buy a bucket of pens there. But if I sell cool pens, what's the offer? What's going to make you say, well, yeah, I got to buy a pen from this guy? What do I offer? Hey, what do I love about this pen? Why do I love this pen? Why would I buy this pen? So thinking about the offer, what we're going to give people, or what they're going to take away, or what makes it valuable, just even to pick up this pen for a moment, it's incredibly important for us to think about before we even ask another human being about, hey, can you give me some money because I'm selling pens for a living? Make sense? And then, of course, price. If I'm going to sell pens, or I'm going to teach you how to write with this pen, I better have a good idea on the price. How much am I going to charge for this pen? Or how much am I going to charge to teach you how to write with the pen and the things that you can write with that pen? Is there anybody else that writes with a pen? Is there anybody else that writes with a pen that's exactly like this? What do they charge for selling the pen, or of course for teaching people how to write with just this type of pen? It's a good idea to know what the market itself, what your potential competitors are asking people for in the realm of money, so that you know what and how and where you're going to charge for that product or service you offer at the very beginning, before the business has even launched. Next, the second mechanic, finance, cash flow, bookkeeping, accounting, and a partnership, a person to help. So many small business owners, so many people with a side hustle or a gig, first of all, want to start maybe just scratching notes, keeping receipts. Heck, I only pay by credit card, so all the receipts come into my credit card statement. That's cool. But at some point, you're going to have to take all that, consolidate, because we've got this nasty function that all of us, personally and business-wise, have to account for every single year. What is that? Taxes. Taxes and taxation. In other words, we need to be able to pay the bills to the government to tell us to continue to keep moving in the direction that we're moving. So finance is when we want to start, when we want to launch a side hustle or gig, or we want to have a good look at our current business right now. Then from a finance perspective, cash flow, what is that? How much physical money do I have? How often do I look at? How often do I measure it, etc.? So for my cash flow, I better know how much money I've got, not how much invoicing I've got. Does that make sense? Because the cash in my pocket can be very different than the amount of money people owe me. So have a way to track it on a regular basis. Bookkeeping. Again, if you don't know what bookkeeping is, I implore you to hit Mother Google, or even go to YouTube and say, hey Siri, what is bookkeeping? She's listening. And she just put the answer up on the screen. It's awesome. Siri was being incredibly helpful and answering what bookkeeping is for me. So in your case, if you got an Android, then you can ask Google. It's okay. Or if you got an Alexa at home, you can ask Alexa. Here, let me screw with everybody who's listening live right now on YouTube. Hey Alexa, what's bookkeeping? God, I hope somebody's got their computer right near their Alexa. That'd be badass if Alexa's kicking up bookkeeping answers. Hey Alexa, set alarm for 3 a.m. with horror noises. There we go. You guys are welcome, right? But for us, from a finance perspective, and I just got it in the chat. Thanks, Mitch. 3 devices just went off. Brilliant. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I set up somebody's devices at home. You're welcome. Anyway, finance, cash flow. How much cash do I have in the business? How much is coming in on a regular basis? I need to track it because that's part of the health of the business. Bookkeeping. I need to be able to account for all the different transactions financially, bills that I paid, expenses that come out, what I pay for my insurance, my rent, my lease, my car payment, etc. It's all got to be accounted for at some point. So how often and when? What do we use for it? Accounting, that practice that happens one time a year to help put us in the position when it comes to taxes, both from a corporate side and from a personal side, to hopefully maximize that position. So we either save money or the business from a health side is put into the best possible spot, right? And then of course, partners. When it comes to finance, I implore brand new business owners ahead of time to find a bookkeeper and accountant right away. But Mitch, that can be expensive. Yeah, it can. So here's a small statistic while I'm talking about setting up finances in your business, cash flow, bookkeeping, accounting. The average small business owner spends 15 to 16 hours a month handling their own bookkeeping. Now in Canada, the average small business owner makes about $74,000 a year, a well-established middle of the road business, which means that this average small business owner makes about $37 an hour. If you spend 15 hours a month doing your bookkeeping, what does it cost you? Well, let's see, 10 hours at 37 is 370. I take half of that, right? What's half of that? 185. I add that onto the 370. What do I get? $555. So on an average monthly basis, a small business owner spends on themselves handling their bookkeeping, invoicing, etc., over $500. The average bookkeeper working with a small business owner right now in Canada charges an average of $220 a month. The average bookkeeper for a small business spends 2 to 4 hours a month doing the same bookkeeping. So if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of your finances, that's okay, you do you. But I usually educate and implore clients that I work with to get a bookkeeper or an accountant right away, get somebody else doing it, because imagine, if you will, for a moment, the 4 hours the bookkeeper spent. Let's say you still spent those 4 hours riding shotgun with bookkeeper the entire time. Do you want another 11 hours in a month to do anything else you want? Or since most small businesses, and this is where, I'm going to tease you for a moment, most small businesses are chronically behind on sales. Imagine if you had another 11 hours this month to focus on just sales. So think of it like that. Pay a bookkeeper and spend those 16 hours a month, 4 hours a week you'd normally spend on bookkeeping and invoicing, etc., and spend that in your sales cycle instead, which is weird enough. Step 3, sales. When I focus and plan on sales, when I'm starting my side gig, my side hustle, my gig economy, my second job, my first job, whatever it's going to be, sales is obviously a really important function. So for us, we have to plan something ahead of time for sales. First of all, we got to understand, and that's a little acronym there, FAB, features, advantages, benefits. In other words, if I'm selling pens, or I'm selling the skill of writing with just this pen, much like the offer in the ideation phase, step 1 right now, what's the stuff they're going to get? What are they going to get with the pen? What's so cool about this pen? Why is it cool? How is it cool? Features, advantages, benefits. In other words, think of, if I'm going to sell this pen, or I'm going to sell you how to write with this pen, think of it like the sticker on the side of a vehicle in an automobile showroom. In other words, if you go to buy a car, put that big sticker on the window, that's the features, advantages, benefits. Here's the engine. Here's the leather on the seats. Here's the touch display in the dash. Hey, these seats have got air conditioning and heated. Pretty useful in Canada because it can get damn cold in the winter and it can get damn hot in the summer. So you probably want seats that are both heated and cooled, but you can read that on that sticker. And that's one of the features, advantages, of benefits for this vehicle compared to, let's say, the next one over. So you've got to be able to think about the features, advantages, benefits for your business. From there, what problems does what you offer solve? In other words, what is going to take away pain for people? Do they have a need? Do they have a want? What's going to take away pain for them? After that, when it comes to sales, we always want to address with our customers, how do you care for people? People window shop all day, every day in a pandemic. I had a window open earlier where I was looking at Apple. Yes, I held up an iPhone earlier, but I was looking at Apple because I was looking for some new AirPods. Even though I've got AirPods in my ears right now, I was looking for another pair. Why? Idly window shopping. I don't need another pair. I got these 2 months ago. I don't need to spend that money. It's dumb. But guess what? I had a window open and I was idly looking, going, okay, yeah, maybe I can do that. But one of the reasons it keeps taking me back there, and no, not an indictment or endorsement for that company, okay? What keeps taking me back there is the way I feel, but more importantly, if I go and I deal with somebody at the Genius Bar for Apple, how I end up getting treated when I'm there taking care of my stuff, right? So people these days, yes, want to know what the features, advantages, benefits, what's the sticker on the side of the window. They also want to know what problems you're going to fix by selling them the pen or the service of writing the pen. If you provide a product or a service, what stuff are you going to fix, right? What's the problems? What's the pain points you're going to take away? After that, people want to know what to expect for how they're going to be treated. How are you going to treat the people that are providing business to you? And what should they expect for the way you're going to make them feel because, well, they've bought your service or your product? You want to understand that in sales. When you plan it ahead of time, why do you need to know this? Why do you need to plan this? Mitch, okay, ideation, product, service, I get that. I should figure out what I'm going to sell to start with. I should even come up with a price. Finance, yeah, it makes sense. I should measure my money because that way I know when I'm going to go broke or if I'm going to have enough. Sales, well, now that I got the product, shouldn't I just go sell? Hold your horses. Us selling something means that we have to give people things in the way that they expect so they can make a decision. If I sell this pen for a living, or I sell the idea of being able to write with this pen for a living, I think it's cool, but I don't need to badger you or talk you into it. I need to give you information in a way that gives you value for it, not what I think is valuable. So when we sell and when we think about the things that we buy, first of all, does it give us a feature, an advantage, or a benefit that we need or want? Next, if we've got problems in life, does it help solve or take them away? But third, we want to be either engineered or made to understand that the people we're buying these products from either genuinely care, or if there's a problem, they're going to take care of us. So when you're sales planning to launch your business, think about that ahead of time, because that is critically important information to tell your customers, your clients, as they come to you to buy whatever service or product you have. After that, your business has to do some marketing. Now, here's sales. Sales is me talking to you. We sit down, talk to one. I learn more about you. You learn more about what I'm offering. And if we can agree that the features, advantages, benefits I have, the problems that I solve, and that the way you should expect to be treated by how I do business is good enough, you're going to buy from me. That's sales. But I can't talk to everybody. In fact, I can't talk to everybody in the world. Heck, I don't have enough time right now because I'm on this webinar to even talk to all the people that are live on this call, never mind who might be on live on YouTube watching and following along. So I need to be at least cognizant, never mind competent enough at marketing, which is getting my business to do the talking when I'm not in the room. If I spend 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours a day at business, there's still the rest of the hours in the day where I don't have time and opportunity to talk to people. If I don't, then my business is never going to grow more than whatever I can create. So when I'm going to market, when I plan at the beginning, I need to know the who, what. Who am I? What do I offer? Remember, ideation and sales, same basic features and ideas. What's the who, what? What do I offer? What does it mean to do business with us? What kind of price? What, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We need these ideas in line for our marketing to be able to get the business to talk about itself, so other people get the idea that, okay, I get what they're doing. Okay, cool. Let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit. But marketing is a different practice because in many instances, marketing is far more passive. There's no exchange of information directly, like if you and I are together, even on a Zoom call, never mind face-to-face, which we can't do in a pandemic yet, but we could meet face-to-face via Zoom. So for us, we want factoids, information, and details for people. Did you know? What are the did you know statements? And in fact, when I talk to small business owners, I say, listen, just use those words. What are the facts and figures and interesting details that other people are going to want to know about this? Did you know? So if I take marketing, who, what? Well, I'm Mitch and I'm a business coach. Did you know 87% of businesses fail in the first 3 years? After that, the questions we want to ask, we want to engage thought. What do you think? So I'm Mitch and I'm a business coach. And did you know 87% of businesses fail in the first 3 years? And what do you think if I say that the biggest three, and it's going to make sense for a moment why these 6 things you got to cover to start with, big 3 that cause failure. Improper cash flow, in other words, we never know when we've got enough money or when we're running out of money. Feast and famine sales cycles means that you start to get really busy, sales is spiking, then you're really busy doing whatever you got to do, and then sales start to drop off, and then you start feeling scrambly, and then sales fall off a cliff, and now you're just trying to cover your bills. Never mind actually make something of your business. And then, of course, a really terrifying part, which isn't listed on here, but it's adding people to your business, hiring, making sure you got people that are good for the business itself. So what do you think if I tell you the big three are cash flow, accounting sucks in the business, sales is feast or famine, and you can't seem to hire a good human being for love or money because offering both doesn't seem to get you a good employee anyway. And after that, you want to give people inside your marketing actionable steps to take, whether it's reading something, doing something, transacting, buying a pen. So you want to give them a sense of do this, do that. So when you're planning from a marketing perspective, to help put sense and to let the business talk about itself, when you can't do this, you got to think about the who's what's, who you are and what you do. You got to give people information and factoids to create curiosity. Did you know? You've got to get them to think in terms of what this means to me, or yeah, this makes sense, or I know somebody that's going through this. What do you think? And last but not least, you have to tell them what to do next, what steps to take. So do this or do that. You need to put some planning in place. And then, of course, you need to execute on that plan, meaning that you need to take your business and start to market on a regular basis. You want to know how to market on a regular basis? We got Cyndicate Talks episodes that talk exactly about that. In fact, how to start a 30-day sales plan, how to start a 30 to 90-day marketing plan. You're going to need to check out season 1 and season 2 of Cyndicate Talks because we've got those in there to help you figure out how to do just that. Step 5, business setup. Get your business incorporated. Get it set up. Get insurance on your business. You're doing something serious that can have serious and potentially life-altering consequences. Well, Mitch, I only sell pens for a living. If this pen doesn't come with the right warning, because we all know that there are warning stickers on appliances that you buy in a big box store that say, don't take a toaster in the bathtub. How did we get to where we have to put a warning label on a toaster to say, don't take it in the bathtub? It's because somebody once upon a time didn't take the notion seriously that if we don't tell people not to take a toaster in the bathtub, they might actually do that and get hurt and die. Well, what's going to happen with the pen? Well, maybe we shouldn't tell people that it's a good idea to unscrew it. Comes apart. Maybe it's not a good idea to take the insert out. It's a good idea not to pull that spring off the end. Why? That spring now could end up in something like a pet or a small child and cause some damage. Maybe we should warn people there's little tiny parts. So when we incorporate our business, go, man, I just sell pens for a living. Why do I have to be incorporated? Why do I have to be insured? It's called covering your butt. Okay. The last step on this business setup is partner agreement. Those two words mean that if it's not just you launching your business, starting your side hustle, starting your new gig, starting your second job or your first job, if you have somebody else coming in with you, you want a piece of paper, even if it's just a blank piece of paper from here, that you write down your expectations for how you guys are going to work as partners. And I say you guys loosely. I mean, it can be anybody, right? But between you and another human being, if you decide that you're going to work together, you need a piece of paper in place to spell out how you guys are supposed to work together. And just in case something doesn't work out, how you guys say goodbye. So business setup is desperately important because incorporation means that the business becomes like Pinocchio, turns into a real boy. Next, you want insurance because insurance is around in case stuff happens. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if people are going to pull the pen apart. You don't know if people are going to take the toaster into the bathtub. So please don't take a toaster into the bathtub. But I am telling you to get insurance in case you sell toasters, because what if somebody takes it in the bathtub because you don't have a warning sign on them telling them not to take them into the bathtub, okay? And lastly, if you have somebody else helping you to sell toasters, get a partnership agreement, get a document that says, hey, I own this much of the business, you own this much of the business, here's what you have to do, here's what I have to do, and if we ever say goodbye, here's what has to happen next. Because I've also seen so many businesses without the proper paperwork in place, and that creates a nightmare. You don't put paperwork, get insurance, or get a business incorporated because you hope bad things happen. You get this stuff done, business setup, in case bad stuff happens. So ideation is the sexy and the cool part. What's the idea? What's the cool thing I'm going to do? What's that price going to be? Finance, okay, a little bit of heavy lifting, but I got to be able to account for. Practice, measure what's going on with my money in my business. Sales, it's kind of the cool and sexy part, but also terrifying. Why? Because here's the stuff that you get from me. Here's how I'm going to treat you. Here's the problems I'm going to fix with what I sell. Marketing, the who's what's, get the business to talk about itself when you're not in the room. Business setup, the heavy lifting just in case bad stuff happens. And step 6, a part that most people don't think about or focus on when they start a new business, start to expand a business, grow it up, or even think of it as a deficiency, the partners you have in your life. So things like accountant and bookkeepers, sales and marketing partners, referral partners, who can you trade business with? Peers, do you have other people, even if they're not in your industry? Mitch, why would I break bread with the enemy? Let me tell you a short story about, I got enough time, about a plumber that was a client of mine once. And we were having a good conversation, and this client was in his living room, and I was talking over the phone. And I'm like, hey, you know, we need to grow your business. We need to do this. We do that. Da, 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 da. He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, also, do you have another plumber that you could refer to, help, work with, etc.? And he goes, Mitch, why would I want another plumber to partner with? He's just going to steal my business. I said, okay, do me a favor. You're in your house. Yeah, you're in your living room. I want you to go to the front door, open the door, and walk out. So he walks in, he goes, I'm standing outside like an idiot. What am I looking at? I said, look one way down the street and then look the other. Count about how many homes. I said, what, one side of the street or both? Both. We finish up and he goes, not counting my house, there's 21 houses on this street. Across the street, obviously more because there's one more right across. And then stretching out, his house happened to be right about the middle. I said, cool. How many of those houses have you knocked on the door and said that you're a plumber, and if you need anything, come and let me know because I'll be happy to help you out? He goes, well, I've never done that. I said, okay. What if there's a plumber 2 blocks over, lives in a street 2 blocks over? I said, how long would it take you for the average household user that comes through and gets something? How often do you think a household user needs a plumber? He goes, I don't know, maybe once a year, once every 2 years. I said, so how long would it take you to work through the entire street? He goes, like a year or two. Now, it wouldn't be enough money just with 21 houses. He goes, about a year or two. You know, not every house is going to need me all the time. I said, okay. Then why do you care where there's a plumber 2 blocks over if you've never even talked to all your neighbors? And he goes, huh. I said, what happens if you're on vacation or if you're busy in house number 1 and house number 5 has an immediate issue? How are you going to get there by yourself? Huh. Okay. So for us, it always bears when we're planning our business, looking at what we got right now or looking to direct and grow, to consider the partners we have. Do you have people that can refer to you, or perhaps you refer to them? Does your business sit somewhere? If I sell pens, what am I going to need as a partner? I'm going to want a partner that sells paper. I'm going to want a partner that sells pen holders for desks. I'm going to want a partner that sells the digital version of this pen. So now, as I'm writing on the paper that the dude sold me, it's going to go right on my computer. Then what am I going to need? I'm going to need a partner that sells the software that makes as I write with the electronic pen on the regular paper show up on the computer. Those are all referral partners because every one of those people could potentially refer to you or anybody else inside of that imaginary pen selling business. And I hope I've inspired you to sell pens for a living because I think they're cool, right? I use them quite a bit. But you're also going to need things for the parts of your business up here. So ideation, maybe you need a marketing or a branding partner to help you get the ideas out. Finance, maybe you need an accountant or bookkeeper. Sales, there are sales partners, whether it's now, think of partner as well, could be employees, could be contractors, etc. Who's going to help you to make the business better and bigger to start with? Marketing. We all know, we probably all know if we're in business, at least one person that does marketing or says they do marketing, right? Business setup. Do we have somebody to help with incorporations? Do we have an insurance partner? Do we have a lawyer that can help with agreements, contracts, etc.? Bills of sales. What if we sell something? Well, how do we protect ourselves and how do we protect the customer? What should they expect if something goes wrong with what they buy from us? These only to be things that are considered. So partners, we need those people that can satisfy some of those professional bits and pieces. And then of course, peers. Business owners that surround themselves with the right proximity. Fancy word for a collection of people with a shared idea. right? Or are willing to share some resources, share some thoughts, or even just help each other out. Predictively enjoy more success with more longevity inside of their business than people that do it alone. Corey, thank you very much, brother. It was great for you to come and join us. Thanks for popping up that chat. I know you and I will talk again here right away. Have a great day, brother. As always, good to see you and hear you, even though it was just your icon on the live studio audience. So have a great day, Corey. Thank you very much. And yeah, I dropped that in the middle of the live version. I'm okay with that. My boy Corey Poirier is one of the top TEDx and Blues Talk coaches in the world. In fact, he founded Blue Talks. So you need to go check him out if you just don't like listening to TEDx, because the man's brilliant. He's a good friend of mine, and when we've been doing business for years. So Corey, thank you very much for joining me in my tiny little live studio audience today. So for back to partners, Corey Poirier is a partner of mine. We trade ideas and suggestions. We're peers. We refer business to each other, etc. That man came here just to wave the flag and support. He knows what Mitch does. He knows what Mitch talks about for a living, but he still came here to provide support. We need those people around us to make our businesses more successful. So if you can get the idea right for your business and put enough thought and effort into it, you can get the finance to make sense. You can measure what's going on with money in your business so you can make really good decisions. If you can plan effectively for sales, then the likelihood of your business starting to at least grow or succeed increases. If you can get your business to talk about itself when you're not in the room marketing, then you're going to get there. If you set it up the right way to start with, it reduces risk. It means less of your life potentially can be harmed because of it. Because you got a personal life, you got a family, you got a home, these other things. Just the act of incorporating, getting insurance, and if you got partners, having partner agreements in place can help reduce risk, move it away from you. And then, of course, surround yourself with good partners. If you just take these 6 steps and you write ideation at the top of the page and start writing, what product or what service can I write? What's the offer? What are people going to get out of this? What price should I put? And then you go to another page, finance, cash flow. So I got to measure my cash. Bookkeeping. So I got to record this stuff on a weekly basis, a monthly basis. Accounting. Well, when do I file my taxes, etc.? Am I going to use a partner for that? Sales. What's the sticker on the window of the proverbial vehicle in my showroom? So what's the features, advantage, benefits? What problems are going to get solved? What should people expect for the way you're going to treat them? Marketing. What are your who's and what's? What are your did you knows, your factoids, your information that's going to make people get curious? What do you think that it's going to, of course, cause engagement in the brain? Go, man, that's me, or I know somebody that's going through that. And then give them next steps. Do this or do that. Business setup. Cover your butt. Take care of the paperwork. Everybody's got to go through it. Smart people go through it. The incredibly brilliant go through it multiple times. Figure out enough so that you understand it, and otherwise get a good partner and get this stuff in place and get it right at the beginning. And then, of course, surround yourself with good partners. These are the 6 parts, the immutable laws. So take one page, write it at the top, and just start to jot notes. Your business will already be better set up. Remember, I gave you a did you know, a hypothetical one in marketing? Well, that stat, 87% of businesses fail in the first 3 years, is a North American statistic. New business startups fail 87 times out of 100 by month 36. The bulk of those failures happen between month 26 and month 36. After that, when you go to 5 years, 6 years, 7, it's still 64%. 2/3 of businesses are gone. Most of them fail because of things right here that you can start the right way with your business at the beginning. And now I'm going to give you a step 7 that's not here. If you write notes on each one of these, review them quarterly or every year and make sure nothing's missing. Or if anything changed, have you had to make a change and turn to that? This is going to be your business planning page. And if you do this right, your business is going to have a really good shot. After that, you need to know what to do and how to do it on a daily basis. Well, you know the stuff you got to do. So here's a real quick review, transacted, push plan for you. Every day, you're just starting your side hustle, your side gig, or trying to get your business to grow a little bit. Sell every day. Every day. Your business needs to be put into a position where it has a chance to sell every day. Measure your cash flow daily. How much money do I have right now? How much do I think is coming in? And what do I got to pay next? Invoicing. If you don't sell transactions, in other words, I sell pens online, and so you got to pay me immediately when you buy a pen. If I'm not selling pens immediately online, then I got to handle invoicing. It means that if somebody bought something and they're not paying today I need to have that invoice into their hands. So the likelihood of me getting paid tomorrow or the day after or next week increases. And then, of course, payments. What stuff is coming up that I got to pay? You don't leave stuff to the end of the month. You don't leave stuff scattered all over the place. Have a good sense right now. Maybe you don't have to pay it today, but having a mind for when stuff is going to take money away from you is incredibly important. On a weekly basis, if you've decided you're not going to do it yourself, and yeah, there's a little typo in here, so don't worry. I'm going to reshare that when I share the document into YouTube. We'll have that little 7 in between AR and AP changed into the ampersand, the and sign. So I'm sure I'll get commentary on that as well. Weekly activity, bookkeeping. If you don't have a bookkeeping partner, then you're going to need to catch up with your bookkeeping on a weekly basis. Accounts receivable and accounts payable. Those are the fancy words for who owes me money and who do I owe money to. If you don't get paid immediately because people have to pay you right now for a pen, then you've got accounts receivable, people that owe you money. If you go buy pens, but you don't have to pay today, that's an account payable. It means you have an invoice. You owe somebody else money. And on a weekly basis, what kind of meetings are you having with your partners? Now, you don't have to meet with your account every week, but referral partners, you should be talking to them regularly. Peers, you should be talking to them regularly. One-to-ones, network meetings, you should be talking to people regularly. What kind of meetings do you have on a week-to-week basis that could potentially help foster, further grow your business? And then on a monthly basis, here's your monthly activities. Your financial dashboard. Remember, we looked at finances, step 2, the things you got to do. What's going on with your finances? At the end of every month, is my cash up or down from the previous month? If it's down, what could I have changed or fixed, or how do I make it correct right now? Sales plan. What do I need or want in the next 30 days? Every month I need to review what I did, and I need to figure out what I got to do next. And of course, operations plan. What's the stuff, the business, as I get it going, even if I've done all 6 of these steps really well, as businesses continue to evolve and flourish, they ask for things. The business will ask you for stuff, or tell you things don't work well. So on a monthly basis, you need to review that so you can decide how to fix it. So if you take these 6 things on the left-hand side and write out your ideas, measure your finances, and put a little system in place, plan for sales, put together some stuff for marketing so you can get your business to talk about itself when you're not in the room. Business setup, set your business up the right way just in case something bad happens. And of course, find some partners that you can help and work with. Then on a day-to-day basis, sell, measure your cash, make sure to send out invoices and look at what bills you got to pay. Weekly, get your bookkeeping handled if you don't have a partner. Accounts receivable, accounts payable. Who owes you money? Who do you owe money to? Review it. Marketing, plan your marketing, get it put together, get it ready so that the business can handle its marketing so that every day you don't have to think, oh crap, I got to do something for marketing. And of course, meetings. Am I meeting with partners, with referrals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? What am I doing that might not be business today, sales meeting, but could be sales tomorrow? And then on a monthly basis, I implore you, have a financial dashboard. If you set up the stuff in step 2 like you're supposed to, every month you need to review and tell yourself, is it going good or is it not going so well? Take a look at your actual cash. How much cash do I have in the bank? Is it more than last month or less? If it's less, what happened? How do I fix that? Do I think next month's going to be worse or better? It's going to be worse. How do I fix it? If it's going to be better, how do I push it? Sales. What are you planning for? What do you need? What do you want? And then, of course, operations. What is the business asking for? If you get these 6 steps in line and you follow these 3 basic behaviors for your business, your ability to launch a business, run and handle a side gig or a side hustle, and of course, having a look at your current business, or it's your second job or your first job, review, have a look, transact, make it happen, and of course, always push. You do that, you're going to have a great chance of success for your business. And if it's a brand new one, you're already going to set your business up in a way that tends to make businesses thrive, grow, but more importantly, survive. And as we're learning in a pandemic right now, if you've got enough stuff put into place and you have enough things going on around you, eventually they're going to work, they're going to stick. And of course, if you set your business up the right way, you're going to have the best opportunity to succeed. Because every day, what did I tell you? Sell every day. So if you sell every day, the likelihood of your business growing, you making the money that you're going to need or want, and of course, taking your new business, your side hustle, your gig economy, or your second job and turning it into your first job increases, and also is going to give you the life that you want. And more importantly than anything, when we want to run our business for ourselves, we want it because it's ours. And therefore, our need to succeed is incredibly high. Give yourself the best opportunity to do that. 6 things to get right, 3 behaviors to follow through on, and you're going to have a great opportunity to be able to launch your business, get that side hustle, that gig going for you, and of course, succeed incredibly well. For my live audience on YouTube, for my live studio audience, thank you very much for joining me. Mitch Cavendish with Mitch Cavendish Coaching, the Savage in Business. This is a Syndicate Talks Season 2, and we have just got through launch your business, start a side hustle, and clean up your business. I hope that you come back, rewatch it again, watch that document to get attached to the video. I know you're going to take an incredible amount of information away from this. And if you need help, here's something to do. Follow up. Cyndicate is an organization that puts other entrepreneurs like-minded together to help you grow. And if that's not enough, you can even find a business coach. In fact, this business coach that will help you, whether you need to start your business like this, whether you want to grow your business, the one that you've got right now, or whether you need to make something work that hasn't worked before. It's going to give you a great and wonderful opportunity, stop screen sharing for a second, to maximize you and your business. Have a fantastic day, and we will see you at the next Syndicate Talks